the general public are told, you know, they're all vetted, it's all been done through the right channels, but then there are some local authorities saying that sometimes by the time they get to the local authority, they haven't actually been vetted, and they're then trying to substantiate, do they really have family? Can that family look after them? So, you know, there are varying reports on how the vetting
we should be looking at the Egypts who actually sat down and did the vetting for this in the first place. What sort of half-wit would put a panel like that in front and basically say, yes, you're a child, you're a child, you're a child?
Absurd.
Absolutely. But it sounds like you're saying that, honestly, in my heart of hearts, if you turn around and say that this person doesn't have family in the UK, this child has no relatives anywhere around the world, let's send them back.
You either have a system,
Calais.
you have a system that you abide by.
We have a system that isn't working because we said that we would take about 3,000 unaccompanied minors under the Dubs Amendment. We've taken none in 5 months. Young people are dying, and it's because we are making a big song and dance about one guy who doesn't look how Nick Ferrari thinks he should look. So Nick Ferrari
has got in. That's
Nick
why.
Ferrari wants these refugee children to look like adorable, you know, sort of broken teddy, give him dress, and that's not what real people escaping a war zone are going to look like.
Let Nick have his say.
The most important thing is that the vulnerable children who've been featured, and great work by the Daily Mail, the Sun and the Telegraph who are keeping this story going, vulnerable children should be in the place of these people who are clearly in their 20s, if not their 30s. And I think Eamon's is a good point. If we are to believe this man is 17 or 18, would any of your viewers want him sitting alongside their 17-year-old daughter as they take their A-levels?
Well,
somehow I doubt.
For every non-child that is getting through, Kate, I put it to you, there is a real child sitting in, languishing in some refugee camp somewhere
quite the opposite.
Who should have that place.
We've taken 39 and we said we'd take 20,000. So to say that these 39 are stealing the places from the rightful people, no, what's stealing the places is the inaction of our government in failing to live up to the obligations that we have agreed to.
But Kate,
there are much more than just this
of the
number
man
of
that's really got everybody talking, and I said he seems to become the kind of poster boy. It was claimed then that he was an interpreter, and yet the Home Office have actually said, no, he's not an interpreter. So we're saying, oh, no, he's fine, he's an interpreter. So there seemed to be a lot of conflicting information that the public are being given.
I mean, that was a tweet by a charity that they then retracted. I'm not sure I'm willing to...
Yes, but why did the charity put that tweet out? They were a refugee charity, and then people retweeted it.
I don't know, I don't work for that charity. What I do is I do a lot of work with refugees, and what I can tell you is that I meet lots of people who've escaped war zones, and the last thing they deserve when they come to this country is to have their privacy...
It speaks to the shambles. Nobody knows who anybody is, nobody knows anybody's age, nobody knows whether they're interpreting...
Isn't it rather normal when you leave a war zone?
If any of these people are found to be lying or over the age that they're supposed to be, should they... Well, you'll say no. Should they be sent back home?
But
totally.
Hold on a minute.
Immediately. I'll pay the fare.
Absolutely,
they go. Back to Calais. I'm sorry, we need the deserving case. By the way, we haven't touched on, do you know how many children, British children, are languishing in care homes? Over 3,000 could do with some homes, or foster homes.
Well, could you get on with adopting them, and we'll get on with looking after everybody else,
Why don't you worry about the British children?
But I do, Nick. I do loads and loads of work with children, much more than I've noticed you doing in recent years.
How do you suppose you feel if you're great and good enough to be a foster mother, you think you're going to get a 16 or 17-year-old, and you get matey boy there who's probably in his 30s?
He's come to join his family.
No, you...
Well, we're going to have to leave it there.